There are 7 specific places that will quietly destroy your future if you refuse to walk away from them. Most men spend their entire lives inside these environments. They laugh there. They socialize there. They feel comfortable there, and that comfort slowly kills them. They sit in these rooms for years, wondering why their ambition fades, why their opportunities disappear, why their life feels trapped in slow motion. They blame the economy, they blame bad luck, they blame enemies, but the truth is far more brutal. The very places they believe are safe are the places quietly dismantling their future. The most dangerous people in your life rarely carry weapons. They carry friendship. Centuries ago, Niccolò Machiavelli observed something most men never understand. A man's ruin rarely arrives through direct attack. It arrives through familiarity, through comfort, through environments that slowly sedate his ambition until he no longer remembers who he wanted to become. You believe you are simply spending time with friends. You believe you are networking. You believe you are relaxing. But in reality, you are walking through a social minefield every single day, and you cannot see the tripwires. Machiavelli understood that destroying a man directly is difficult, but placing him in the wrong environment, that requires almost no effort at all, because certain rooms, certain circles, and certain conversations are designed to keep you small, to keep you distracted, to keep you comfortable enough that you never become dangerous. Most men walk into these traps smiling. They joke, they talk, they relax, and slowly their edge disappears. Think about the last time you sat with friends and complained about your struggles. You probably felt relief, you felt heard, you felt understood, but that feeling was not strength, it was sedation. You traded your ambition for a moment of sympathy, and everyone in the room quietly learned your weaknesses. There are 7 social environments where this process happens repeatedly, 7 locations where your power leaks away without you noticing, 7 places where your confidence, reputation, and ambition slowly dissolve. If you find yourself inside one of these circles, you are not relaxing. You are being harvested. Your focus is being dulled. Your hunger is being numbed. And the people you call friends are often the ones holding the knife. Today, we expose those 7 dangerous places, because once you see them clearly, you will never look at your social environment the same way again. We begin with the most addictive trap of all, the one where most men bury their ambition long before they are physically buried. 1. The sympathy circle. The first place you must escape is the sympathy circle. You already know this place. It might be the group chat where everyone complains about work. It might be the bar where your friends meet every Friday to talk about how unfair life is. It might be the dinner table where conversations revolve around problems instead of solutions. This environment feels warm. It feels supportive, but it is one of the most destructive environments a man can inhabit, because the currency inside this circle is not ambition. It is shared suffering. The conversations revolve around complaints, excuses, stories about why things are difficult. You believe you are releasing stress, but Machiavellian psychology reveals something darker. Pity is a drug. And like every drug, it feels good while it slowly destroys you. Every time you complain inside that circle, you reveal something valuable. You reveal your frustrations, your fears, your vulnerabilities. You think your friends are listening to help. Most of them are listening to feel better about their own failures. When someone responds with "Yeah, man, it's tough out there," they are not empowering you. They are validating stagnation. they are giving you permission to remain exactly where you are. Because if you suddenly escaped that situation and built real success, your existence would expose their excuses. Inside the house of pity, nobody wants to see a winner emerge. They want a fellow victim, someone who makes their own lack of progress feel justified. Look around that circle. These are not hunters, they are a herd huddled together for warmth while opportunity walks past them. Every complaint trains your brain to chase sympathy instead of solutions. Every venting session weakens your instinct for dominance. And eventually, you begin valuing comfort over progress. But a man who is comfortable being pitied can never command real respect. And a man who cannot command respect will never hold real power. 2. The table of unearned respect, the second dangerous place, is far more seductive. It is the table of unearned respect. This is where you find yourself sitting among people who are far more powerful than you before you have actually earned that position. Perhaps you were invited to a high-status networking event, a luxury dinner, a VIP gathering. Suddenly, you are surrounded by successful men. They laugh at your jokes, they shake your hand, they treat you politely, and for the first time, you feel like you belong. But Machiavelli would look at this situation and see something else entirely. He would see a mascot. Because there is a difference between being in the room and having power in the room. When respect is given before it is earned, it usually comes with invisible strings. You are not a player, you are decoration. Your presence reinforces their status. You are proof that they are generous enough to invite outsiders. But when real decisions begin, your influence disappears. When real leverage is required, you realize something uncomfortable. You are never truly part of the circle. The danger of this environment is psychological, because proximity to power creates the illusion of power. You begin dressing like them, talking like them, thinking like them, but your actual position has not changed. You become addicted to the appearance of success, and slowly the hunger that once drove you begins to fade. 3. The echo chamber of low-level winners, the third dangerous place, is the exact opposite. Instead of being the weakest person in the room, you become the strongest. This is the echo chamber of low-level winners. Here, you are the most successful person among your friends. You earn the most money, you give the advice. Everyone looks up to you. At first, this feels empowering. But Machiavellian strategy warns that this is one of the most dangerous environments imaginable, because when everyone around you admires you, nobody challenges you. You stop sharpening your skills. You stop evolving. You begin believing your own hype. Your friends applaud everything you do, not because it is extraordinary, but because their own standards are low. You feel like a king, but you are ruling over a very small kingdom. Meanwhile, the real predators of the world are competing in arenas far beyond your visibility. If you are the smartest person in the room, you are in the wrong room. Growth requires friction. Without it, your ambition quietly decays. 4. The sunken cost relationship, the fourth dangerous place, is the environment you refuse to leave. Not because it still serves you, but because you have already invested too much time to walk away. This is the sunken cost relationship. It may be a failing business partnership, a toxic friendship, a stagnant relationship. You know it is draining you. You know it is holding you back, but you stay anyway. Why? Because leaving would mean admitting that the last several years were wasted. Your ego cannot accept that, so instead you double down, you invest more time, more effort, more emotional energy. trying to repair something that is already dead. But Machiavellian thinking is brutally pragmatic. The time you have already lost cannot be recovered. The only question that matters is whether the next year will produce results. If the answer is no, staying becomes self-destruction. Power requires the ability to cut losses without hesitation. 5. The stage of false status, the fifth dangerous place, is the stage of false status. This is the social environment where appearances matter more than reality. Here, people measure success through visible symbols. Expensive watches, luxury cars, VIP sections, designer clothing. Participation requires constant spending. You begin performing wealth you have not yet earned, and this performance becomes a prison, because once people expect a certain image, you must continue funding that image. Debt begins to accumulate, financial pressure grows, but your pride prevents you from stepping away. You fear losing status, so you continue the performance. But Machiavelli warned that rulers who spend excessively to maintain appearances eventually destroy themselves. Looking rich is often the fastest way to remain poor. True power grows quietly, but the stage of false status demands constant display. And display drains resources. 6. The arena of the middle ground, the sixth dangerous place, is the arena of the middle ground. This is where you attempt to remain neutral in every conflict. You avoid choosing sides. You soften your opinions. You try to keep everyone happy. You believe this makes you diplomatic. But in the world of power, neutrality rarely creates respect. It creates suspicion. Machiavelli argued that those who refuse to choose sides eventually lose the trust of both sides. Because neutrality signals weakness, it signals fear, it signals an unwillingness to stand for something. The result is isolation. You become invisible in the moments that matter most. You become the man nobody fears and nobody relies on. 7. The ghost of your hometown, the final and most dangerous place, is the ghost of your past. It is the social environment that remembers who you used to be. Old friends, childhood circles, family members who still see you as the person you were years ago. These people often resist your transformation. Your growth challenges their identity. Your success highlights their stagnation. So they attempt to pull you back toward familiarity. They remind you of old mistakes. They use old nicknames. They treat you as if nothing has changed. And slowly, their perception begins shaping your behavior again. To become someone new, you sometimes must become a stranger to your past, because environments that remember your weakness rarely accept your strength. Conclusion: now you understand something most people never recognize. Your environment is not neutral. Every room you enter is either strengthening your ambition or quietly dismantling it. Every conversation either sharpens your focus or dulls it. Powerful individuals are not defined only by intelligence or strength. They are defined by selectivity. They are extremely careful about where they spend their time, because the wrong environment can undo years of discipline. Look at your life honestly. Which of these 7 places are you still visiting? Because the moment you identify them, you face a choice. Remain comfortable or walk away and reclaim your future. Power rarely requires dramatic action. Sometimes it simply requires leaving the wrong room. And once you do, you may finally discover the environment where your ambition can breathe again. Now consider the consequences of this knowledge. Once you see these environments clearly, you cannot pretend ignorance again. The sympathy circles, the rooms of artificial status, the echo chambers of mediocre praise, the relationships built on dead investments. These places once felt normal to you. They felt safe, but now you understand their true function. They are containment zones for ambition. Places where potential is slowly domesticated until it becomes harmless. And the most dangerous part of these environments is that nobody inside them realizes they are trapped. They laugh, they celebrate small victories, they repeat the same conversations year after year. Meanwhile, time moves forward without mercy. The years pass, opportunities disappear, and one day they wake up wondering how life became so small. But by then, the habits are permanent. The environment has already shaped them. This is why strategic isolation has always been the secret weapon of powerful individuals. Before a man can build something extraordinary, he often has to step away from the environments that keep him ordinary. This does not mean you must hate those people. It simply means you must recognize their limitations. Not everyone in your life is meant to travel with you to the next level. Some people exist only for certain chapters of your life. And if you carry them into the next chapter, they will become anchors instead of allies. The path of power is not crowded. It requires distance from noise, distance from comfort, distance from the social environments that reward weakness instead of discipline. This is why powerful men are often misunderstood. They appear cold, they appear distant, but distance is not cruelty. Distance is strategy, because every hour of your life is an investment. Every room you enter is a decision about your future. And once you understand the 7 dangerous places that destroy ambition, you gain something rare: clarity. You begin to recognize which conversations strengthen you and which ones quietly drain you, which circles sharpen your mind and which ones slowly bury your potential. At that moment, the game changes, because the world has not become safer. The traps still exist, but now you can see them. And once you see the trap, you stop stepping into it. You choose your rooms carefully. You choose your alliances carefully. And eventually, you build an environment where ambition is not suffocated but multiplied. That is the beginning of real power.